Garm quirked his eyebrows and stood also, seeing at last two little people standing in the doorway. They came up only to the belt of a Norn, and they were grey, with giant ears swept back from their childlike faces. One was male, dressed in a greatcoat over a buttoned-up vest and brown trousers. He wore two large gauntlets with gems hovering over the backs of them. The other figure was female, decked in bluish body armor that looked jury-rigged, as if she changed its dimensions constantly. Despite their strange voices, they looked intently serious. "Oh, there you are," said the slightly taller creature. "Heirs to Garkin, I presume? I'm Master Snaff of Ratasum, Asura genius. I've been told you're the best." "Told by whom?" Heir asked. "Asura. Of course they would be Asura. Short, smart, and irritating." Snaff smiled, bowing. "I cannot reveal my sources." The younger Asura shot him an annoyed look, as if he often revealed his sources. Unperturbed, Snaff continued, "This is my associate, Zoja, genius in training." She also bowed, but her scowl only deepened. "We've come for a commission," Snaff said. Alright, hello everybody, welcome. I'm very nervous about today's dungeon, because yes, indeed, we are going to be descending through Sorrow's Embrace, and I've got a ton of different stories about how tricky this solo will be. Of course, that means we're going to have some more juicy mechanics and stuff, which I'm really happy to see in the comments a lot of you guys are appreciating. For one little thing before we go in, however, there was something I wanted to show you last video, but I never quite had the time to, so now that we've got the Sorrow's Embrace waypoint, we can move away, and there's a cool jumping puzzle and stuff there that I tried to squeeze in, but I'm not going to. Instead, let's go back to where we entered Dredgehaunt and run up following the priority road. I think this is called the Grey Road, and it's a really nice beeline route all the way from here up into more civilized areas up north. The great Norn stronghold of Holbrak is actually at the very end of this road, which we've never seen before, and it's, you know, actually quite clean and safe to travel all the way up. But what I'm going to do is take us off on the right, because right now we're quite deep in the Shiver Peaks, and in fact this is probably the deepest in terms of chilly climbs and things we'll see for the Shiver Peaks for a very long time. It's going to get tropical, and then it's going to get very dead and very different. But yeah, I wanted to take advantage of being in this region of the world, because it actually overlaps quite lovely with some of the Guild Wars 1 explorable territories. And in particular, an old Guild Wars 1 outpost over here. There are many places where the sequel kind of plays homage to the original game and references the original game, but this is one of the only places at release that they expressly ask you basically to be a Guild Wars 1 player to do well, and I really want to show you guys this, especially for fans of that original series. En route as well, I did want to show you at least one new skill readying for the dungeon here. Let's take a look at our training. Now, you've seen most of what Bract has to offer. However, there was this selection here, the gadgets. You saw the AED, massive heal if they would kill us. You've seen the rocket boots. I'll demonstrate those again. I can't even remember when we last used these. This was a while ago. Beautiful. You get to move around a lot. What about some other gadgets? Well, I'm going to buy two more here up to this, the throw mine. So here, what we just unlocked, first of all, were utility goggles. We won't be using these in the dungeon, but basically you can put on the utility goggles. It stun breaks you, it increases your chance to crit, it makes you immune to blind for 10 seconds. This is a very special effect. Nothing else in the game really is such a hard counter to a Condi like that, especially blind. So here, we'll put the goggles on. And then, you know, we can shoot this worm. And then obviously you get the tool belt, which is analyze. You can analyze a foe, applying 10 vulnerability to them. So it's a bit like when Tyrix calls on my mark, but then it also applies revealed, so they can't stealth themselves, like so. So the two together, we hit really hard, and they take more damage. Kind of a nice idea. And oh my god, we seem to have aggroed the whole world here. Let's take these guys out very quickly. That's really not the main thing. I just wanted to show it at some point while we're playing engineer. The main thing is the throw mine. So, we can throw a mine out on the ground like this. It gets planted under the snow. Oh my god, another worm is here. Let's blow this guy up very quickly. And you'll notice, even after doing that whole fight, we come back, it's still under the snow. You can look actually at our skill bar here, and the icon has changed. We now have the ability detonate. And whenever we press this, we can remote detonate the mine. And while it was in the ground, it was already on cooldown. So the second we detonate the first, we could drop another and blow it up again. But now we have to wait for the cooldown because we didn't fight a worm in between. So it's a really kind of cool skill, and is very much about setting up areas that you're going to bunker down in and, you know, defend really heavily and fortify. And that's a cool element of engineer that not many players play with, not many people appreciate, and you're going to be seeing a ton of. It's a very cool build we're going to be playing over this video. So yeah, that's the throw mine. But also, by the way, it does just basically massive damage, vulnerability, it rips boons, it knocks people back, it's unblockable, it's just a massive hit they can't avoid, it debuffs them in various ways and knocks them away. Here, I'll show you. I mean, the worms we can't knock away, so you can't kind of show the whole thing. Let's just move on up. Here you go. So here's an Alpine Stalker. What I'll do is I will throw the mine, I will shoot the Stalker to get him annoyed, and we'll fire automatic rocket at the same time. And then when he hits the mine, it automatically procs, knocking him back and doing damage. So, you've got that. He just stealth. We'll kill him in stealth. Then also there's the tool belt. The tool belt is this. The mine field. You plant 5 mini mines around you. And just like the big mine, each of these also removes boons. Okay? And does damage. And just like the big mine, we can at any point remote detonate. The remote detonation side of it's a bit weird since they auto-proc when an enemy gets into it anyway. It kind of defeats the purpose of waiting for that perfect moment to, say, get a blast in a combo field or something, I guess. But hey, there you go. So those are those skills, and we will be using them. Now, let's move on. We're very close to the main highlight here, out in the Dredgehaunt Cliffs. Even more dredge mining operations and bases and stuff over there. What I want to show you is this. And you notice straight away on the left, there's a dwarven headstone. Look how cool the moon is. There's a dwarven headstone with a Priory Scholar. You may recognize this already. This is one of the most faithfully recreated Guild Wars 1 locations in the game. It's within the region of Spearhead Bane, but when we get the waypoint, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's really cool to see other players around here. We are at the Granite Citadel. Oh, the Granite Citadel! Guys, this was one of my favorite, like, cozy remote locations in the original game. It was like a side objective, an extra area you could go to 250 years ago. It was one of the locations where you could get some really exotic, like, fancy armor. And it was one of the last places you'd go if you did the Hidden Titan side quest at the end. Again, I hate to keep banging on about it. If you've seen my LP of the original game, you did see us come here, and many years ago you heard me geeking out about this place. And it looks so good in the sequel. For when the game originally released, before we get to expansions and stuff, this was one of the coolest ways that the devs built a Guild Wars 1 area back. It's in such remote areas, nobody's really torn it down or done anything with it. And what's cool is there's about 1 billion NPCs here, and we are in a heart area, and it goes further. This heart will play with the Guild Wars 1 players' feelings in a big way, because you get these dwarven headstones, and the idea is we want to, like, respect the headstones and deal with them. So these headstones are dwarven in origin, raised for those who died while stationed at the Citadel. So we can ask a nearby researcher about it, and this scholar says, the researcher says that the dwarves didn't want their possessions falling into enemy hands, so they enchanted their graves. Randomly reading the headstones is dangerous. Well, we can examine it, and it says, Little Thumb! Below the name are 3 lines of weathered runes. Only 1 word in each line is eligible. It says Archer, Healer, Brawler. Which line do you read? Okay. Little Thumb was an NPC ally that you could party with in the original game, and you would travel around with, spend a ton of time with. And this demonstrates in lore that Little Thumb died here at the Granite Citadel, and the fates of a ton of original game characters are explicitly and clearly lined out right here. So Little Thumb was a warrior henchman, and he was actually marked in the in-game user interface in the original game as a brawler. So which line is the correct one? Healer, archer, or brawler? Brawler. And for that, we get a reward of a minute of protection. The scholar cheers, and he's happy in his grave there. And there's loads of different graves. There are graves for all kinds of different characters here. I'm not going to weigh the whole video down by going to every single one, but we'll go just a couple more here. These headstones are dwarven in origin, raised for those who died. Examine this one. This is Merrin Trollsbane. Below the name are 3 lines of weathered runes. Only one word on each line is legible. Azure Essence, Tusk, Wing. Which line do you read? Now, Little Thumb, most Guild Wars 1 players would kind of be able to stumble their way through. And obviously, even a Guild Wars 2 pure player would have a 33% chance of getting this correct. And there's going to be other ways to push the heart anyway. So, you know, it's not a massive punishment if you didn't play the original game for this one heart in this one map with this one mechanic as a part of it. But you might still be there scratching your head wondering, well, is it fair that the GW1 players get such a massive advantage? Well, not really, because Merrin Trollsbane, yes, was a Guild Wars 1 NPC. Yes, could be found at the Granite Citadel 250 years ago. But no one's really going to remember who this guy is. He wasn't a main character. You couldn't bring him into your party. He only appeared here. Basically, this was a collector, a random NPC of thousands in the original game. And the question is, what was he collecting here at the Granite Citadel? I can almost guarantee that not a single human being, for all the years this video was on YouTube, will know the answer to that question. So you could either, like, go and look up a guide, watch a video like this, or, you know, be a ridiculous savant that knows these things. So at some point, the devs are kind of expecting all players to fail, whether you're a Guild Wars 1 player or not. As you just saw, in fact, this minion monster, this human that just ran near me, that Norton, sorry, I should say. They failed, and it summoned a fire imp, which they killed, and it gave them heart progress anyway. The correct answer to this, if you are curious, is they were collecting Minotaur tusks. So tusks is going to be the second one. There you go. I'll come up just a little bit more. We really got to get into the dungeon. Here's some guys. Gabriel.
Search for knowledge?
Hello, Brecht. Everyone's talking about you. Gossiping's a hobby around here. It's kind of you to visit an injured soldier. Everyone's talking about me. I guess we're getting some renown, guys, based on what we've done in Claw Island. How'd you get injured? Nothing big. I found myself on the wrong side of the dredge. It's okay, though. If you think I look bad, you should have seen the dredge. Any idea? That reminds me, I got a story. One of the first times I got, like, into a physical altercation with a person, I remember I went back into college the next day with a big black eye, and all anyone would ever say is, oh, I'd hate to see the other guy. It's weird, I guess over in Seattle where this game was developed, a similar thing happens maybe. Anyway, any idea how I can help out around here? Thanks for asking. Firebase Molek and Frigadar Camp both need stronger defenses. Yeah, okay, fine. Look, we don't have time for that. That's a cool axe in that. Let's go over to this final headstone over here before we move on. These headstones are dwarven, raised for those who died at the Citadel. Examine the runes. This is Makar Fort Slayer. Below the name, we have 3 runes: Merchant, Innkeeper, or Collector. Makar was once again another collector, so he's going to be the third line.
I'm nigh invincible.
All right. That's about it. I do want to point out some of the other characters you can find here. Alessia, another one of the henchmen, died here. Raina, who was one of the Archer Ascalon henchmen, also died here. And possibly the most important pronounced death you can find here is actually a dwarven death. It was the final resting place of the dwarf Kilroy Stonekin, who was a very funny, aggressive, simple-minded dwarf that led you off on ridiculous quests charging around the Eye of the North right at the end of Guild Wars 2's days. So all of those are big, pretty prominent characters who all passed away. What a cool little place, and this is my only chance to get remotely near the Citadel to show it to you all, so that's what I want to do. There we go, so that's Raina's body, and we get the heart complete. You assisted us greatly today, Bract, by keeping the dredge threat out of the Granite Citadel and by deciphering runes on the nearby dwarven headstones. We're on the brink of discovering how the dwarves once pacified the dredge. We hope that the knowledge will one day allow us to end this bloodshed. We're that much closer, thanks to you. Oh, I'll tell you what. Dun, dun, dun. I was just killing a couple of dredge on our way over. Here, we'll come up to this little camp and this waypoint while we're at it. I could have waypointed away as well. And we just got a level. So remember, level 70 is to start forging the pact. We just hit... I'll hide here. We just hit level 71. And guess what, guys? That's actually going to be really useful for the dungeon. We're actually several levels higher than the dungeon's, like, default level. But because the story makes us go to 70 first, and now we've clipped this extra level, we've actually got a really big, important threshold that I kind of need. So, here, let's check it out. Level 71 rewards. The game now teaches us about mail carriers. Did I teach you guys about mail carriers yet? Maybe I'll do that. But here we get hero points and a third specialization slots. This is a big moment. You may now equip 3 core specializations. Visit the build tab of your hero panel to equip a third one. Let's get into some buildcraft here. Mail carriers, for what it's worth, they allow you to skin the bird that you send to people when you send messages or do a bit of direct player trading. And there's lots of different versions. For example, this is the anniversary mail carrier that you get when your account is a certain amount or a certain period old. Here you can turn the mail carrier into a parrot. Here you can turn it into a raven. And yeah, I guess the game's teaching us about these. They unlock mostly through the gem store, which is, not really that important for the actual gameplay itself. Now, right, third specialization. Let's have a look at how Bract is structured right now. What we learned in Cordicus's Manor is going to be very important for this dungeon too, so don't worry, there's not a huge amount for me to discuss. So let's look at the backbone of the build, which, as we've explained before, is a combination of firearms and explosives. This is where all of our damage comes from, and in particular, it's the combo of the Shrapnel Grandmaster Explosives trait, which means all of our explosions, these mines, the grenades, everything that's an explosion, has a chance to hit people with shrapnel now, which does bleed and cripple. It's the combination of shrapnel with firearms' Sanguine Array, which is we gain might whenever we put bleed on a foe. So what this does is it means as we throw grenades at people, the grenades explode, thus putting shrapnel on people and bleed, thus giving us might. And it's a very ramp-oriented offense, which means the more we can AoE people, so we throw 3 grenades at once. If each grenade hits 3 targets, then that's 9 different chances for shrapnel to proc, 9 possibilities for might, and potentially 9 might anywhere in that range every single time we throw grenades. Sometimes we get even more explosions, like the grenade barrage is 6 grenades at once. The minefield I just showed you is 5 explosions at once. Okay, actually, no, how many? Yeah, it's 5 mines around ourselves. So that's the main backbone of our offense. The other traits you already know. Grenadier buffs our grenades, makes us throw them faster, cool down quicker. We get rockets firing out. I'm actually going to get rid of the aim-assisted rocket here, which procs just on random strikes. And instead, I'm going to go back to Big Boomer, we saw a long time ago too. This is we gain extra health and crit damage based on how much power we have. Which we have lots of power from our gear, which I'll show you in a second is the same as what it was before. So there you go. That's explosives. Firearms is all the same. Sanguinary Array, no scope. We get fury and ferocity when we hit people who are close to us. And here we have incendiary powder. When we crit people, we can put burning on them, and the burning lasts a lot longer from all of our sources. Okay? So I might swap incendiary powder to modified ammunition, which is do more damage per condition on our foe. We will see. So that's the backbone of our offense, on top of all the same old gear, literally. We're still rampagers. I'm still picking up 4 ogre runes, and we still have 2 altruism runes, which gives us might when we use our heal turret. And it's still rampager's trinkets. It's a rampager's weapon with an agility sigil on it, which gives us a bit of quickness and a bit of swiftness, and it gives us might when we hit people. This is what you saw for CM. The armor is only level 65. And we're now level 71, but it should see us through just fine. Now, that's if the scaling works the way I hope it will, and I don't really know. As we've seen from all the other dungeons, it's always a bit of a crazy experience when we get in there. So that's our offense. We're not touching that, but we just got a 3rd slot. So this is the first time in the whole series you can get a triple slot. Bract has never even looked at anything else. He's never looked at alchemy or tools or inventions. So what one do we want to pick? Well, we're going with inventions. And we're going for inventions for a very specific reason. Let's buy our way all the way in, become a master of inventions, whoosh, all the way. And now we can come over here and we can equip inventions. It's for a very specific reason, and it's related to that elixir I was talking about before. Before I bore you all too much outside the front, though, let's head on in and see what we're dealing with the second we get in. Sorry's Embrace is a great Dredge City. Air and Kaith have gone within. Let's see where they are. The Dredge have claimed all former lands of the Dwarves. What was once Sorrow's Furnace, a place of Dredge enslavement, is now known as Sorrow's Embrace. Great peril may still be found within these depths.
We should be off. Zoja may be in trouble.
Let us wait for the others. It serves no purpose for us to go into these dredge caves without support.
Hello, ladies.
Do you know why she came here?
I've never been able to understand the Asura. Knowing Zoja, it has something to do with Snaff.
Indeed, pretty much everything is to do with Snaff. She wouldn't be interested in Kudu if Kudu wasn't Snaff's apprentice. There's a suggestion Kudu may have been involved with some of the CM stuff, and Zoja didn't like it, and she definitely wouldn't like any boasting coming from in here. Right, so the entrance of the dungeon, it's not very forgiving. There's a lot to talk about here before I actually speak to the characters. This is the staging ground where we would wait for all 5 of us to come in, but it's just going to be me on my lonesome. You'll notice there's a single repair anvil over there. Now, and if I try and get away from these machines, which are very, very loud, and the lava's quite loud as well, let's have a look at inventions. The reason we're running inventions is because Elixir U changed. Now, a long time ago, I was practicing this run that you're about to see, and I utilized Elixir U because when you shattered it on the ground, it created the wall that deflected projectiles. Within these caverns, we will find a ton of dredge. Dredge often use rifles, and they really hurt with their rifles. So, I could counter that by throwing Elixir U on the ground, and they'd reflect or be deflected. The other big thing about Dredge, as hopefully you remember, they're mole people. They don't use their eyes, so they cannot be blinded. Blind doesn't mean anything, so it's not like we can use our bomb kit, and we can use the smoke bomb, and we can blind them with this. They will just continue pelting us with the rifle. So Elixir U was my only way through. I did it with Elixir U. It was actually pretty comfortable. I was really happy. I was ready. And then the nerf came. So we need another way of getting reflects or deflects. That's the big job. And we're going to get it through inventions. Inventions is all about our constructs. It's all about turrets and building things that supports us. So this is why the build is going to become very bunky oriented. And it's going to be great, guys. All right? So let's just go through our minors. First of all, when you're inventions is a defensive-oriented line as well. Whenever we use a heal skill, we gain an extra cleansing pulse that cleans a condition off of us and people around us. We might visually be able to see this. Let's drop our heal turret. Do you see that second pulse that came around very briefly? Yeah, that's the cleansing pulse. It's kind of hard to see with the turret that also overcharges the second it drops. But there you go. You then get reconstruction enclosure. You grant protection to allies when you use a heal. That's why that pulse gave us protection. You saw we dropped the turret and we gain protection. So we drop a turret and we're now reducing the damage we take. You can see it there. And lastly, we get energy amplifier. Our healing power goes up when we have the boon regeneration. Our heal turret will heal for more as long as we have regeneration on us. And if you remember, the F1 gives us regeneration. And the turret itself is constantly giving us regeneration. So as long as we're standing near our turret, we're more capable of healing straight away. So you can already see how we can start clinging to our turrets a bit better. And other heal skills basically are stronger too. But there you go. All right, that's the minors. Now, what are we going to be picking? I won't go through every single option. Okay, they're not all relevant. This is a shield trait. This one's not necessarily relevant, though it's okay. I'll just tell you what we're going to use, which is auto defense bomber. We drop a smoke bomb when we are disabled. Now, so yeah, if one of them CCs us, we drop this bomb. It's exactly the same as this. And that means that things in it will get blinded. And you might think, well, hold on, WP, you just said we're fighting Dredge and you can't blind Dredge. Yes, that's true. But there are other creatures beyond Dredge in there too, which this will help us with. And also, and more importantly, say we're in a nested turrets here, like this rifle that I've just set up, and we get crowd controlled, we'll automatically drop the bomb. And I can blow up one of my turrets, which will blast in the blind field, in the smoke field, and give us stealth, allowing us to flee. So, it's a nice trait. Next, we're going to be taking this, the most important trait defensively we have. It's all about inventions and turrets. Experimental turrets. Turrets basically become super OP with this. Our turrets gain reflective barriers when they are built, and they grant boons to allies around them at a regular interval. This is very, very, very important. So now, watch what happens when I build my new OP rifle turret. It creates this shield around it. And if I hide in the shield, all the dreads shooting me, they get reflected. The thing is, the shield doesn't last that long, so we have to do some tricky stuff to get through it, which I'll explain when we actually get into the fights. But yeah, and not only that, but also, because now I'm standing next to this rifle turret, you'll notice every now and then, it's giving me fury. And some of the other turrets give us different things. The flame turret gives us might. The thumper turret gives us protection. The net turret gives us swiftness. The supply crate turrets don't give you boons, I don't think. But watch what happens when I supply crate now. Look, we get bubbles on all of them, all right? And that could be in conjunction with our other stuff, yeah? So, excellent stuff. I love it when you can augment an elite skill. Brilliant. And now we get a choice of Grandmaster. This one's really important. Grandmaster's pretty good too. I'm going to be taking this. I used the term at the start of the video for a very specific reason. Bunker down. Create a mine and a med kit at our location whenever we crit something. So what this means is if I hide among all my turrets up a hill, reflecting stuff, and I keep plinking away like at the spider, when we crit the spider, look at what just happened here. Well, I created the big bomb there. If I actually kill the spider now. Look at this. Look at this. We have 3 mines and, well, we have 2 mines and 2 med packs. And these just keep building up a bit. They will eventually despawn and quite quickly. But what this means is I'm going to have a huge cave full of stuff wherever I want it. And I can just step forward to heal myself a ton. If anyone runs into us, they get blown up on the mines, which are explosions, which proc shrapnel, which blah, 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 blah. Yeah? Okay. And it's a very fun playstyle. Last thing to talk about then are our skills, which we are going to be running the rifle turret. We are going to be running the hill turret. We are going to be running the supply crates. And then we have one more choice of a turret. We're going to be playing with the rocket turret there and the grenade kit. You might think, well, hold on, WP. What about the mines? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Right. Let's talk about the dungeon. Couple of things. First of all, a repair anvil here. If we die, our armor will break, and we have to hope that won't happen. Over here, we have, but we can use that to repair. We have some spiders. I kill these spiders actually because I need to right now. They're not that dangerous or anything, but I may have to come and hide here because one of the biggest challenges of the dungeon is right at the start. It's not a joke or an exaggeration. It really is, and I might need to come hide over here. I don't want the spiders hitting me. So in all my practice runs, I've been clearing those out. The other thing to note about the many areas of this dungeon is the presence of lava. We vaguely talked a bit about lava before. I'm not sure whether it's really been that relevant. Here it is, especially at the start. If we stand in the lava, we take big damage, and it puts burn on us. We're going to be fighting creatures in a second that can knock us back. They are dredged with rifles, and just like us, they get overcharged shot, they have hip shot, and they have jump shot. So, let's go have a look at them here. You can see there's some inquests speaking to them straight away, and that's the dungeon proper. We're at the mechanisms of production, which have been discovered. Huge lava field down there. If we fall in that, it's game over. Bract is dead. So let's hope we don't. Funny story, if you can actually get through, there's some interesting places you can go to down there with crazy skill stuff. We certainly don't have that capability. But yeah, those guys are on the other side, and the bridge isn't up. Once we gather our party, Kaith and Air will help us get this bridge up. And these dredge are going to run across the bridge and fight. And this is a big challenge straight away. Remember I said they have overcharged shot? That means if I'm standing here, they can knock me into the lava and they'll kill me. Just their regular attacks are really heavy hitting. Extremely heavy hitting. I'm in one of those weird places where I kind of want to show you how hard it is before I come through, because I want you to have a good impression of it. But hey, they will be spamming hip shots. The big problem is I need to get them nice and tightly balled on my grenade kits to get lots of might to cleave them all down fast and be done quickly. And that's unlikely to happen with the way they spread. And especially because they're going to stand here. They're going to see me in my little nest. And they're going to jump shot in on me. So I need ways to deal with that. If they spread out horrendously, I have to run away and hope that they stick on the turrets and they don't kill me as I flee. Worst case scenario, I have to leave the dungeon completely and try again before we die. It's gonna be messy, guys. Very messy right here at the start. The rest of the dungeon won't be so bad, I hope. It depends on the scaling as well. Okay, so what does everyone say? Let's get in here now. Keith, this is your timestamp if you don't care about the actual game and you just want a story simulator. Now we'll get to the story. I'm glad you've joined us here. As I told Air, Zodja has gone before us into the depths of Sorrow's embrace. Why is Zodja here? I do not know, says Keith, but I assume it has something to do with a rabid protection of Snaff's creation. Ah, we get another moment. Wait, who's Snaff? Snaff was Zodja's master and mentor. He passed on many years ago. Zodja is always hunting down those who misuse his inventions. I want to be clear about the story in this dungeon as well. It's awesome, and we're going to get big answers about Snaff and stuff. It really heats up here at this point, okay? We're really accelerating with the dungeons now. Here, already we have 2 allied Destiny's Edge members, and revelations await below, guys. Why is Air here? Well, Keith says I knew that Zodja was coming here, so I just told Air. She's worried about the little Asura, and I'm hoping that the 2 may reconcile as a result. So, Zodja and Air really don't like each other. Zodja blames Air for the failure because Air was the leader. I guess this line demonstrates something. Keith really did make the first success. She got completely abandoned in Twilight Arbor, and she still thought to go and hang out with Air and get Air in on this. So, Keith orchestrated this and got at least 2 of them. What's Sorrow's embrace? Once, this was a great dwarven mine, the Sorrow's furnace. The dwarves enslaved the dredge and built great engines like the Iron Forgeman. Now, the dredge rule these caves. Great engines, the Iron Forgeman? Interesting. Okay, thanks very much for the information. We should be off after her. We also get Garm, Air's pet. It's legendary. It whiffs at us, and Garm sniffs the air and gives a low growl. That's basically the only dialogue you get from Garm here. And Air, hello. You're not intimidating at all, I swear. Keith insists we wait for everyone before setting out after Zodja. Is everyone assembled? I like that she says this. It's a very Norn thing to say. She doesn't need like loads of allies. She just wants to get in. We're all here. Okay, let's head out. Are you sure we're all here? Yes. Good, she says. Zodja is somewhere down here. We should find her. Okay, so the second I do this, it will all trigger. The gate's going to go up. The dredge are going to attack us. Let's get started. And I have to do a lot of things in very quick succession.
We should go, Keith. Zodja may be in trouble.
In a moment. Our friends should know what they're getting into.
Please do, enlighten me.
Sorrow's embrace was once a great forge. The dwarves that lived here kept dredge as slaves. When the dwarves went into the depths, the dredge made these diggings their own.
And now Zodja has stormed in here. We don't know why, but we need to find her. It may already be too late.
Okay. Woof. So, if I stand still, we might be alright. These guys have got some dialogue, which we'll deal with in a second, because they won't update for a long time, so it's fine. Let's just quickly move on. Now, those dredge, that bridge is now opened, you'll notice. If I was quick enough, you would have seen a cool animation as I opened. Sorry about that, guys. There's a rat there. Let's kill. Okay. The main thing we need to counter right now is the fact that they will jump shot in on us, and once they get into our nest of stuff, we'll have problems. The main technique of dealing with their projectiles is we're going to rotate through our turrets. The reflective bubble and the turret's overcharge only triggers once right when you create the turret. After that, they become very passive. So here's the technique. We drop the heal turret. We let the bubble appear, and then as the bubble leaves, we create the rifle turret, and as we drop the rifle turret, we pick up the old turret. And then we drop the rocket turret and we pick up the old one, yeah? And then by the time this bubble's done, I only have a few seconds of being vulnerable before I get my next turret back. And what will happen is we'll have lots of med kits around and things that we can heal ourselves. So that's okay, but the jump shot's going to be a problem. The way we'll deal with that is with throwing mines. Remember I told you guys about precasting? Yeah, that's what we're going to have to deal with. Let's wait for our rocket turret to come up. And what we're going to do is actually slot on the mine. And what we're going to do is we're going to scatter. We're going to throw a big mine about here. Remember, the big mine is a knockback. So the idea being the dredge jump into us and then the mine blows them away. Okay? So we're going to do that. And we're also going to scatter a mine field on the bridge, knowing that the dredge will run onto it. Take damage, get angry with me, and charge forwards. And I'm going to stand somewhere around here-ish in the hopes that they sort of aggregate on this corner so they're a little bit more balled up. This is not a science because when the AI decides to jump shot and stuff will be a big determiner. But what I'm going to do is hide behind my big mine about here. And then when they're in the middle of their jump shot, they should get blown out.
I want to use the weapon now!
Patience. This is a precision inquest instrument, not some brute force piece of dredge work.
Wait, what's that? We have interlopers in our lands!
Intruders. I will warn your masters. You get them.
Okay, so they've seen us. We're also going to precast our med pack drop and watch. So when they jump shot, they should land in the mine and it'd be interrupted. Ready? Here we go.
6 feet tall.
And we need to get our turrets up. So let's do it. This is kind of good right now. This is what I want. So here we'll drop our new one. No jump shots just yet. And we got to pressure them now. Rocket turret comes up. They all get knocked down. The rocket turret kind of... The bubble on the rocket turret isn't that important. So now we're going to supply crate on them. The supply crate being really important. Our damage is much lower than in my tests, by the way. Way, 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 way lower. But they're not able to hit us, so this is kind of perfect right now. And none of them are jump shotting at all. There we go. 1 kill. 2 kills. You can see all of the different condis that I'm spreading there with my grenades. Here we need to drop the heal turret again. There, he's emoted us with a net shot. We got a chest over there. Oh god, our damage is really low, guys. Really, really, really. There's a jump shot. He did that so late that the mine was gone. Oh god, my camera clipped into the thing there. He did that so late the mine was gone, which is kind of scary. Here, let's keep the rocket turret up. There you go, only 1 left. Oh, the low damage. This might not be possible. The low damage is really, really, really freaking me out right now. Okay, down he goes. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see how things go.
I recognize that Asura. His inquest.
Why would Inquest be working with Dredge?
I don't know, but I bet that Zosha does.
Okay, so the confirmation. There are inquests in the dungeon, and now you pretty much get the idea of the build. A lot less of the discussion will need to continue happening. We're going to use variations of that technique for most runs here. Okay, cool. What do you guys have to say a little bit more? You recognize the inquest? Are we doing the right thing? I tried to mend fences before, but it just made Ritlock angry. I doubt Zodja even wants to talk to us. Yeah, I reckon Air would have a way better shot being friends with Ritlock than Zodja. Why is that? Old sins which never die, I'm afraid. Interesting. I mean, we sort of know the sin. We know that she got Zodja's best friend and mentor killed. Why is Zodja here, though, of all places? If I remember correctly, Air says, Kudu was one of her mentor's other apprentices. Zodja doesn't like anyone using Snaf's work. Okay, she does seem determined to stop Kudu. Kaith, and I'm determined to stop Kudu too. He stole my trans-atmospheric weather converter. We should locate Zodja as quickly as possible. You're worried about her? Zodja has always been the youngest and most impulsive of our group. Yeah, if you read the novel Edge of Destiny, she is very much. She's like the newcomer. She's very young, impulsive, and she was well balanced by Snaf, who's not around anymore. Impulsive? She's always been dedicated to her teacher, Snaf. If someone's using his research, she will not rest. Alright, I would pity those who stand in her way. Yeah, she's pretty vicious. Why did you bring Air again? Well, Zodja and Air have a history, much like Logan and Ritlock. Perhaps if they can talk, we can reunite the group. You think Zodja and Air will talk? I don't see why not. We all work together once. People change over time. We should go. That naivety of the Sylvari is still coming in here. What do you know of this place? The Dredge carved these great burrows for their dwarven masters. When the dwarves went into the depths to fight the Great Destroyer, the Dredge took over. Yeah, here's a cool idea, guys. The dwarves left this place that they owned to go deeper than this place. Whoa, that's cool, isn't it? You know, this is the surface to them. They're down in the depths with the real mess with Primordus below. That's a very exciting concept to me. Alright, so we get various routes to go through. As with all dungeons, there are explorable variants of this that unlock different roads and paths. It's actually a huge place.
Relax and press the trigger. Don't yank it. These weapons are advanced, but you should be able to use them with ease.
But some of the more iconic Guild Wars 1 locations, again, because this was in the original, are found in some paths versus others. We will find some here, don't you worry. Right, so, Inquest, training Dredge. An alliance between the Inquest and Dredge? Well, I never. Kudu, you nefarious bastard. So we've got more Dredge to deal with, and also an Inquest guy here this time. What I'm going to do is a very standard line-of-sight technique, where I aggro the Dredge, and they're going to run around to kill me, but I'm going to be standing flush against this wall, so they're all ball in this corner, and they're going to be in my nest of hell, okay? So, the very cool and fun thing we can do here is this. We can drop our mine, and by standing against the wall with the mines, we can scatter the 5 mines and they'll all end up in the good areas because they can't go through the wall. Then we'll drop our big mine. Then we'll go to the rocket turret. And remember this? The rocket? Well, I can actually use that over walls to aggro them. So it's 100% safe.
These weapons
So watch this. The rocket goes in the air. Oh, I hit the wall. Okay, that will be a technique we can use. Don't you guys worry. I guess I'll just shoot them with this. This is going to be a bit more tricky. There you go. We'll hide around the corner. In they come. Get a heal turret up straight away just to prevent the first projectiles. Ow. Okay. Ow, 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 ow. This has already gone pretty badly. Oh, no, 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 no. This is... Yeah, you can see they do damage. I wasn't lying to you before. They do a lot of damage. We got to keep away from them. They are taking the damage. So here, we got to pick up our med packs. Lots of med packs. And now I'm going to use my F1 and my rifle to jump back in. And I'm going to drop a rifle turret here. And once again, hide in my supply crate and with a rifle turret in the bubble. And now we can start rotating through stuff again. Oh, I messed up my rotation, but that's fine. Okay, they died. Or most of them did. Okay. Whew. So, our one advantage is we can kill them quickly. And it feels like we sort of did there. The more balled up our opponents are, the better. Because the more might we get. And we can kind of race them to death. I don't like that. Whoa, this is not... The scaling is starting to really hit now. This is going to be a challenge. This is not going to be one video, I'm sure. Okay. Good. So the Inquest are dead. And we're going to use... And now I'll destroy my supply crate. This is going to be a very cool... So we're at the oversight platform. I guess they were shooting at this dummy. And basically, we're going to have to do that 2 more times.
Don't take the net for granted. Some enemies can escape it quickly. This is what I respect about you, Dredge. You are diligent to the end.
Okay, even though they're being manipulated. Very cooldown dependent. I need my supply crate back to even have a chance to do this. So that's what we'll do. Also, I'm going to start precasting the med pack drop. What we're going to do is drop the med pack about a minute before we engage. When I see that this is about 45-second cooldown, we're going to drop that, which gives us a full set of med packs, and then we can quickly drop another one very soon after.
Some enemies can escape it.
So yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. You get the advantage as a viewer of not having to sit about and wait for this every time. All right, here we go. I messed up a little bit, so we won't have the double casted thing, but that's fine. Get our mines up. Let's go to the rocket turret. And now, if you watch the rocket, I can arc the rocket over like so. And in they come. Now, I'm going to hide back here. Immediately supply crate, because I'm terrified. And let's just blow these guys up as best we can. They've moved in a little bit. Put them back again a little bit. Just scooting around, getting some med packs. Not forgetting to use my rifle there. They shot me and got me some days on me, so I'm just going to get my next turret like that after a dodge roll. Oh, God, something really hurts. What is that hits so bad? Oh, more med packs, please. Back onto the grenades. And that should be the majority of them wiped out now. Oh, okay. I need to know what that is that's getting through and hitting us sometimes. Is it just that they're getting through my... So here we'll blow up all of our stuff so it goes on cooldown as quickly as possible. Damage taken... We got hit for 3,500. 2 ticks of it at once. With Sonic Blast, which is not a projectile, actually. So I think that might be the Inquest guy that's doing that. Right, so I did a little something there as well while we were waiting for our cooldowns. I forgot about food. So I just procced a trading post here, so that I could pick up some food. Now, here's what we've got, okay? First of all, we have 2 potions. Where are they? We have potions of Inquest Slaying, which is 9% damage against Inquest and reduced 8% damage from Inquest. That will be useful in Inquest heavy bits. And Dredge Slaying, same thing, but against Dredge. So that's our potion here. And also, then we have 2 varieties of food here. I have spicy vegetable chili. Remember, lots of different foods are unlocking as we go higher up the levels. This gives us a different effect at the day compared to night. And because we're in a dungeon, it counts as night right now for this dungeon. So we have an 18% chance to steal life on our crits. So 18% of our crits, which is only a percentage of our hits, we get a little bit of life still. That might help. Or there's mango salsa here, which gives us a whopping 80% higher downstate health and increases our damage while down. So if disaster strikes and we get down, we can use the salsa to be a little bit tankier while we're on the floor and do a bit more damage and bank for a rally. All right, that's the idea. We will see. In fact, I'll start with the salsa for now, just in case. And yeah, it's just sort of a fail-safe. Right, med pack drop, and we'll wait again. We'll be ready to go in very soon. Okay, aggroing now. Get the rocket. There it is. It should land. Alright. Oh god, every single pull I get so tense. I don't know whether this is it, whether it's death the second that happens. Okay, we got protection for now. I'm going to stand back because of the Sonic there. It's the Sonic things. It's the Inquest technology, you fools. I think it's because the first pull on the bridge don't get those. They have, like, just raw, straight-up rifles. We need to rotate through our stuff here. Back it up a little bit more. The fear of backing up, just in case you're confused about it, is it moves me away from all the med kits and things that I've dropped. So if one comes out, like this guy is, he's not having any of it. He's coming out for me. And I can no longer AoE, and there's all kinds of deadly things about it. Luckily, Kaith and Zodja and so on managed to clear them up back there along with my other turrets. Okay, good. Like I said, the first pull is the really dangerous one. The other one's a little bit cleaner, and now we're through. Beautiful. All right. By the way, the girls really basically contribute nothing to the fights. Very rarely get any aggro, and Garm contributes basically nothing as well, so you got to watch out for that. Don't expect them to save you. Moving much deeper into the dungeon now. We will notice on the left, there's a big gate. Our ultimate goal, get through that gate. But first, we need to move to the right.
While the true observation, just telling them to get to work would probably be more succinct. If the golems are not working, don't waste your time talking to them.
They teach the dredge not to speak to the golems. So,
Put your backs into
Keep
it.
working. We need more ore.
our first boss fight. We have an elite overseer cult.
Rocks aren't going to mind themselves.
His job is to order the dredge in the area. All the dredge will fight us. We also have an elite golem, the advanced defense golem. And we have Inspector Snick, the boss himself, a champion whose break bar won't be broken by hard CCs, or most hard CCs, I don't know, we'll see. And he has, on his flavor text, pistols and a flamethrower. A very cool boss, because he weapon swaps, much like most of the Guild Wars 2 players do. We'll talk about that mechanic soon. First job is to kill the dredge and the overseer cult. Same technique as we've seen before. Once the supply crate comes up, I'll go for it. In fact, this is a good time to get the med pack dropped down. What we're going to do is use the rocket to hit the excavators, and hopefully Colt will come, but not Snick and his golem. We want to get them on their own. The dredge themselves are really weak. They've been worked to the bone doing their mining, and so we can get through them quite comfortably. But the others, we don't want to deal with it all at once. Right, so scatter mines.
Put your backs into it.
Big mine.
More ore.
Back to the rocket turret. Supply crate is coming up.
Rocks aren't going to
Fire a rocket over there. That's going to hit the roof there because the arc's too high because I cast it too far away. So we'll just attack so we don't have to wait a million years to get back in.
half the time. And it
And let's see what we got.
6 feet tall and bigger.
They all blew up. We start with 12 might at the very beginning. Heal turret comes down. If I was playing a little bit better, I could prioritize better on this and use the heal turret second. So good. Right, only Snick is left now. And we can blow him up. We can hot swap a potion on now as well. A lot of you guys watching this series say, you know, you're not like super OP or crazy good players. And you watch videos and montages of people doing stuff like this, and you see they always have their inventory open. Quite often it's for that. It's for quickly swapping weapons and swapping buffs and things that are on you based on the engagement. Okay, and now we have the boss itself. You'll notice all my turrets are down here. And that's not ideal. But what we can do is blow a couple of them up. The supply crate will... let's just get rid of the supply crate. And we'll have to just be cautious. Now, there's a very easy way to deal with this, but we have to be quick while Garm and so on are alive. Right now, we just want to pressure out the golem. If I head back here, you'll notice my grenades are being obstructed on the stairs. The boss is trying to kill me, and remember, it says he has pistols. You'll notice he's firing his pistols, and just as my grenades are being obstructed, his pistol shots will be as well. Oh, my grenades are actually managed to get through somehow through the thing. You can see how he can't hit us. So we can position ourselves perfectly like this to kill without the pistols striking us. And the rocket obviously, hopefully can get through. No, it's still hitting the roof. Once the golem's down, we can push up. Another tactic we can use, though, because this is very precise, and I've done this several times, is we can move up, drop a rocket turret, and stand behind the turret. Now, the turret's reflecting right now. That's very good. But I'm just going to spam all of these up and watch that. We got chunked there by the golem because he's not dead yet. We're still getting chunked by the golem. Okay, the golem's dead, finally. What will happen... Oh, Christ. Look, I'm trying to show you guys too quick. We have to kill the golem first. That's all rockets that it was firing at us. We're going to have another boss soon. Okay, this is bad. I'm probably going to re-engage this. Maybe. Let's see. Let's see if Snick comes all the way over. There's a very simple technique for taking him out. We're just out of range right now. And we're just going to obstruct, basically, his projectiles with our turrets. It doesn't matter that they're reflecting. The turrets are fairly tanky, especially once they're... Well, I don't know whether trading them up makes them tankier anymore. There was maybe an old trait. Here, I will show you. We're going to drop the hill turret. This is a bit far out of range, really. Let's move in. Look, I got to get in. He can still hit us. We're going to drop the rifle turret and stand behind it. There we go. We're in position now. And whenever he shoots us, even with the barrier down, if we hide behind the rifle turret at the right angle, he can only hit the turret. Look at that. See? And the rifle turret's taken damage. It's a 90% health. But it will survive long enough for us to get our damage in. So I'm just going to spam my entire nest. I'm going to hide behind it. And remember, as we hit him, bunker down is proccing. So we've got a ton of mines at our feet. And the turrets themselves have got a ton of med packs on them. We can drop more med packs around us. We can supply crate. And all these things. You'll notice his brake bar is slowly going down because of the shrapnel cripple, which, as I said in Corticus Manor, is extremely powerful. We can even dip back into our rifle for a brief moment to immob him, and then the brake bar goes down. So that's how you can deal with the pistol phase. But what about the weapon swapping? Well, when he hits 50% health, which is what he's about to, he's at 60 right now, he will weapon swap to a flamethrower. His flamethrower skills are a little bit different to ours, but largely... you can expect the same style stuff. He has a pull that does damage, which we can't deal with easily. But he's going to start running at us to try and melee us.
My flamethrower wants to say hello.
And he's going to start hitting us through the turrets. He can now cleave. The flamethrower phase is extremely deadly. He will insta-kill you if you let him roast you. But when he starts firing the flamethrower, it takes him a second of stationary movement to lock on. And then he doesn't know how to turn while firing it. So if we keep running tight little circles around him, you'll notice, I mean, it's kind of chaotic and hellish because of all the turrets and stuff, but you'll notice he can't hit us. As long as we keep going in little circles, it really is that trivial. Very easy to get around this boss fight and solo this on any profession, any gear, anything. Once you're out of the pistol phase, running little circles will see you through it. The brake bar and the free damage you get from that is just the cherry on top. Every now and then he will catch you with the pull, and that can be scary because he can chain you into the pull into the thing. But if you have a stun break, you'll be fine. There's a pull. He actually did it in the reverse order there. He flamethrowed us and then pulled afterwards. And you'll notice I'm not even supply crating here. I've got my regular turrets up. We're managing to sustain reasonable fury, reasonable might. And we can take him out with lots of bleed damage through our Rampager gear and just the flat impacts. And there you go. That's boss fight 1 done. Boss fight 1. Let's collect our lab equipment. We're all good. Getting champion boxes. Can take these out. Good job, guys. And there's a lever at the back here.
Thrill of discovery.
We're at a place called the Iron Gorge, and there's another gate down there. But we won't be exploring that here today. We're going to pull this lever, which doesn't open that gate. It opens the other one we saw before.
The dredge. They're fleeing in terror.
Why do I think that Zosha is responsible?
She could be in trouble. We need to find her.
Ah, what is this? Dredge running away? Hello, everyone over here.
Please, flee for your lives. She is evil incarnate.
Yeah, that sounds like Zosha. Catch me next time, guys, for the rest of the dungeon. We are going lower, and we're going to figure out what the hell Kudu has been doing here, and maybe see another bit of a blast from the past. We understand how Bract works now. The question is, will I die in doing it? See you next time.
They've said we can depart in 2 days, right? Do they mean it this time? Or will there be another delay? I wouldn't mind playing bodyguard to the Priory if we had something to guard against. I'm tired of sitting around, waiting.
Earth rumbled and moved, displacing itself, churning in ever-growing spirals of shattered stone. Behind the Jurassic Earth carver, Nim pushed and grunted, struggling to shove the implement more quickly through the wall. It was larger than he, coiled to a point at the fore and flat at the rear, like the stylized claw of some giant beast, or like that massive tooth the idiot Norn worshipped up in the frozen mountains. Nim scowled, shoving with all his might as the cone-shaped digging device rolled and rocked and did its work. With each shove, The earth carver dug forward and Nim crawled after, not caring if the passage behind him was half sealed with rubble in his wake. That would be a defense against anything sneaking up behind him. A genius idea. Fu on the rest of them, those idiots in that Cog's cursed crew. He was getting himself out. A shudder rippled through the ground, shaking Nim so badly that it tilted his trajectory 3 degrees to the south. He cursed and quickly flipped the earth carver off to investigate. Had he overloaded the joint welders? Flooded the arcana log? Nothing. Maybe the problem was with that talismanic stabilizer. Another shudder. That one definitely wasn't caused by his machine. Nim pushed his goggles up onto his forehead, listening carefully, his black eyes narrowing against the single clean strip of skin across his face. Poisey's stupid sonopath, he guessed. Idiot. She'll just draw attention. Better to sneak along and not be noticed. Turning the earth carver on again, Nim put his shoulder to the rear harness and shoved with all his might. With a mighty effort, he drove the spinning drill through the next layer of rock. As the stone cracked and fell apart, Nim cheered, only to turn his cry into a scream as the rock, earth carver and all, suddenly tipped forward with a burst of unimpeded speed. "No!" he screamed, grabbing for the handles on the rear of the machine. "A cavern! My calculations must have been off! I should still be in pyromorphic The sound of chittering rose and swelled beyond the opening as the ground crumbled beneath him, threatening to collapse completely. Forced to release the handles to save his own life, Nim scrambled backward, but found himself quickly trapped by the rubble he'd left in his wake. Thick cracks splintered the foundation, and Nim saw his fate spread out before him. A blanket of thousands of scrits, and all of the little monsters was staring up at the fresh, new hole in their city wall. Across the big cavern, Nim could see the twinkle of daylight. A way out. But he'd never get there. Even if he didn't fall to his doom, there was easily 1,000 rodent men in the way. So the comment highlights have been reasonably cool, and I've seen some very slight change, but I'm wondering if putting them at the end of the video instead of the start, because you guys are literally about to click off now, might be better at encouraging comments, because hey, you can literally scroll down right now at the end of the video and leave a bit of a contribution. So we'll see how this works. So in light of the Hidden Tibble event I showed you yesterday, a lot of you guys have mentioned this. There's a similar secret event where if you completed an apple a day, also Order of Whispers, you can get a veteran ministry guard to attack you in Harathi. Makes me wonder about the other secret events. That came from Foghorn, but a few of you did point it out, and that's very cool. Sadly, there was no reason for Brack to head up through Harathi, but I'll note, if you make the right choices, you can craft like a perfect story for a single human character that joins Whispers and spends their entire time dealing with Crichton politics right up until Claw Island really happens, which is kind of crazy.